Grab my machete.
It's early in the morning on the world's second largest island, and the temperature here is already at 33 degrees Celsius, and that's 92 degrees Fahrenheit. The humidity, as always, is stifling and as high as it gets. This is, after all, the wet season in one of the most ancient jungles on the planet. I'm flying over a place on the Pacific Ring of Fire. It's the collision point of several tectonic plates, where volcanic eruptions and earthquakes are frequent. I could give you all the impressive stats of how many bird and plant species there are down there, but the fact remains, no one really knows. This place has been too remote for anyone to accurately study. Where am I? Papua New Guinea. Deep in the heart of this mountainous and untouched jungle, I'm landing in what can truly be described as a tiny remote village. It's not even on the map. Wanakipa is home to a few dozen Hewa, a group of people known to the outside world as savages. In fact, that's what their name means. They still fight and kill each other out here by bow and arrow, spear, and machete. But that doesn't make them savages. In fact, what they desire is a peaceful existence, eking out survival on these remote hills by, if you can believe this, farming. Papua New Guinea is in the eastern part of the planet just north of Australia, and with over 850 indigenous languages, the most in the world, it's extremely diverse. 80% of the people here live in rural or remote areas with no modern facilities. An anthropologist has led me here to meet with the Heiwa, and the Heiwa are leading me deep into the jungle they call home.
Borneo, the Amazon, and the Congo. All jungles with a reputation for being deep, dark, and mysterious. Well, I'm in one of the last great unexplored jungles on the planet, Papua New Guinea. I'm with a couple of members of the Heiwa. Their life expectancy is actually 32 years, and anyone who's lived longer than that has at one time led a Stone Age existence. The only way they can survive in this jungle by having tiny jungle farms. Here, you can't survive off the land. Well, I'm about to find out why. By spending the next 7 days out here, without water, very little food, no gear, and no camera crew, alone in Papua New Guinea.
Taliano and Axel, my two Heiwa guides, think what I'm doing is ridiculous.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Thank you.
But they know what I need to accomplish my mission. I need to be left alone in the jungle.
My two Heiwa guides have dropped me off here. Oh, flies in the mouth. And this is where I've got to survive. Now, I've got to set some priorities here. I've eaten this morning, so I'm fine for food. There's water all around me, I can hear it. So hopefully some of it is good enough that it's not going to bother my stomach too bad. I actually should have been out here a day or two earlier, but I've been sick with diarrhea and vomiting for 2 days. So it's taken a lot out of me, and that's how I'm starting off this venture. It rains here nearly every single day, a solid downpour, usually thunderstorms. This is a jungle, it's a rainforest. So, shelter. And I've got some time, but I'm gonna get down to it. When I was out here training with the Heiwa guides, they showed me how to take down a tree out here, or at least how they take down a tree out here if you don't have a bush knife. And let me show you how it's done, if I can do it.
The teeth of the Heiwa are ground down to almost nothing due to the constantly chewing of something called betelnut. Yet they can still chew through small trees. When they did it, they literally got halfway through the tree and then broke it down.
Maybe it takes years of living in the jungle. That's how you do it without a bush knife. And that's how you do it with a bush knife.
The final look of this shelter will be that of a lean-to. Here in this particular rainforest, I can utilize easy-to-work-with small trees. Hanging vines strong enough for tying, and big fat green leaves for my roof. With nightly rains that are essentially a deluge that can last for up to 12 hours without breaking, taking time now to make sure my shelter is strong, and in particular doesn't leak, is vital.
It's the middle of the day now, 1:30 or so, and the heat just becomes quite oppressive right about now. So I gotta stop every so often and just let my body temperature cool down a bit. I'll overheat real quickly. You really gotta monitor your body temperature in a place like this.
It's during shelter construction with all the grabbing and moving around when I can easily touch something that can either shock, infect, bite, poison, or sting me. So I've got to be careful.
I can't get too close to that camera because that's a big wasp who's decided he likes it. I don't feel like getting stung on the first day out here. Wah! All right, well, step one, done. Shelter from any downpours that will definitely come, but you'll see that in a jungle that is this fertile, it's very difficult to survive.
This jungle is flowing with water, but I've come in with stomach problems already, likely from the village water, so I hope that out here it's safe.
Well, it tastes good enough, but there's no way of knowing whether or not it's filled with parasites. The reality is, I'm pretty confident that this stream is clean and clear. That's the surprising thing. I think most people think that all streams and bodies of water are just crawling with giardia and parasites, and they're not. The stream's probably just fine. I've been drinking from streams in the jungle so far, and there have been no problems, and then there were other times when I got sick, so hopefully this one won't make me sick.
If you're wondering what that high-pitched sound is, that's giant cicadas. Just doing their call. They're very loud, ear-piercing, actually. I'm gonna check out what the Heiwa sent me in with. Fire starting kit, some tinder, piece of vine. We'll see how that goes. And they sent me in with some food. Sweet potatoes, what they regularly farm here. That's what pretty much keeps them alive. Cacao, they call it. A few peanuts. And this necklace of nuts. Oh, and last but not least, some jungle bananas. So enough food easily to keep me going for a day and a half, 2 days. As for the fire starting, well, I'll go grab some tinder and give it a shot before it starts raining.
Before it starts raining. That's just wishful thinking in the jungle.
Okay, that's just not fair. This is not going to be easy. I have one last ditch effort I can try to get a fire going if I can't do it the Heiwa way.
This time, I came prepared, since it's so wet here.
Here we go. Some vine. My only piece. This would be the worst time to try and get a fire going. Not so good. All right, let's try this again. Come on, baby. Don't break on me this time. Well, that's too bad. I did this in practice. I was able to get it going, but the vine they sent me out with just keeps breaking. Too old. I got smoke, and then it broke. And that's not enough. It's starting to pour here, and I'm gonna have to switch to my last ditch method and see if I can maybe get the fire going. Bummer. That's filled with a million ants. I have started fires by hitting rock and steel together, by spinning a piece of wood with my hand, by using a fire bow, gasoline and a spark, batteries, flashlight, the sun. I even started fire using chocolate in a can. And I have gotten fire using this vine method out here. Just not today, because all I have left to get a fire going now is a butane lighter. Wish me luck. Woo! Wow, that was close. Of course, getting a fire going and keeping a fire going are two different matters altogether. So what are my issues here? Well, there are 4 different kinds of malaria in this jungle. One of them is quite deadly and can kill you. The other 3 just make you pretty sick. And the very deadly taipan. Now the taipan is about the only snake on the planet that really gives the black mamba a run for its money in terms of aggressiveness and poison. That's the bad news. The good news is I'm probably too high up in elevation for the taipan to be up here. But that's not to say one can't wander up from the river anyway. And as for spiders, there are poisonous spiders here, and there are spiders bigger than my hand. And they come out at night. But hopefully they'll leave me alone. This is definitely going to be a long week.
Ironically enough, as it is in most places, it's not the big spiders that are a problem. They're just creepy, and not usually poisonous. It tends to be the small parasites in the New Guinea jungle that can cause the real problems.
At night, there's flying foxes, they call them. Big bats, basically. They hopefully should leave me alone. The nightly rains in the jungle. Well, it's like a regular banana. I'm not going to say it's delicious, but it'll do. Damn it. I got a drip. I hear you. Thunder. Mosquitoes. Rain. Very little fire. Well, the cooked banana was good. I don't know how it's managing to do it, but I've still got my fire going. It's just smoldering underneath all the damp wood. But it's still going, and it's still raining. It's gonna rain a long time, I think. The thing about trying to sleep in a survival situation in kind of a crunched up position like this is you don't really sleep.
The greatest danger of all during the night is my own mind. But years of doing this have given me the confidence to just close my eyes and wait for morning light.
One of my staff members cut a deal with me. They said they'll throw in some survival items in my top pouch if I promise not to open it before day 2. Well, it's day 2, so let's see what I got. Some rope. Nice. Oh, sweet. Orange garbage bag. A can full of survival, all right? Oh. How about that? The top just broke off. Now imagine if I was down and out and hurt and trying to open that up. But without a can opener, I would have been in trouble. A mini sort of stove holder. I'll bet you the can will fit right on top of this. Candy. I'll take one of those right now. That's good. Looks like chicken and beef bouillon and just some tin foil. All right, here's my survival in a can. Let's see how it can help me while I'm out here in the jungle. What's this? Instructions on how to survive. Excellent. I was hoping to get a lot more, but it's starting to rain again. No way of knowing what kind of spiders and bugs might be on these leaves.
Every chance I get, I have to build up my shelter. Each day, I can make it better, stronger, and as a result, it'll be more able to protect me from the jungle elements.
Always race in the rain. I always put an orange garbage bag in my survival kit. Number 1, it's great for signaling, raincoats, catching water, and in this situation, for a waterproof roof. Can you tell how slow I'm moving with everything? Foolish thing to do, actually, to move fast when you're in a survival situation, unless you're trying to run away from something. There we go. Amazing what you can do with a garbage bag.
It's day 2, surviving in the jungles of New Guinea.
Looks like a good place to have a bath. Keeping clean in the jungle is not an option. It's a necessity. Fungus can develop rapidly out here and be all over your body. Finally, some jungle wilds that I can eat that are just here. This is wild taro, and the leaves are full of a very fibrous sort of silicates. They'll have to be cooked. It's the only way I can eat these. It just would hurt the mouth too much to eat them raw. There's not much to eat here in the jungle that's just growing wild and natural, but there is some. This whole area up in here is being turned into a tiny jungle farm. Likely by just one person, maybe two. One machete, maybe an axe. And as steep as it is, that's where they've got to eke out their existence. They can't just go around this forest gathering because there's just not much here to gather. For the Heiwa, survival in the Papua New Guinea jungle is tough. This jungle is unique. It's quite probably more primitive than most, really. See, there's no placental mammals here, no primates. Seed dispersal is left to a handful of marsupials and birds. And that's why so much of the fruit is 200 feet up in the air and not accessible to a human being. Makes survival here very tough. The Heiwa have come into this jungle, but they've had to bring with them the concept of farming, because without it, there's just not enough to gather here. There's not enough to hunt. You're reduced to kind of groveling, which is sort of what I'm doing, I guess. I'm getting lightheaded. Of course, that could be because I'm taking malaria pills without any food in my stomach. That can't be good for me. No energy. I've gathered what I could from the surrounding jungle here. And there was a good supply of dry stuff hanging. If you look far and wide, you can find it even in a place that gets 6-7 hours of rain every single day. Make a bit of a funnel of fire here. But first I'll change the tape.
The duty of filming all of this while surviving calls again.
Once I get a fire big enough like this, I can use punky wood and burn it as well. You just gotta have that main base. Just gotta be careful it doesn't go too hot, too high, because I'll burn my roof. It's ironic that I'm in probably one of the most primitive jungles that I've ever been in and surviving, and yet here I am eating roasted peanuts, probably one of the more bits of civilized food I've ever had while on a survival ordeal. So, what do I got to eat here? Some of those nuts, roasted up. Oh, that's good. And this is that sweet potato. Oh, very good. Whew, hot. We'll see how the new shelter and the new fire hold up. Just cooking up this wild taro leaf. You've got to cook it up to break up the silicates in the leaves, and then it's edible. Not bad.
Outside of the jungle canopy, it can be light for a long time, but underneath it, where I am, darkness prevails.
Well, this might be the first night ever in a jungle without rain. Uh-oh, maybe I spoke too soon. It might even be a decent night. I just have to see if I can get some sleep without any big old hand-sized spiders crawling on it.
In the jungle, you just have to give in to the fact that things will crawl on you at night. Some of them are poisonous, and some are not.
Those are wild pigs. Grab my machete. There they are. Walked right through my camp. Now that would have been a meal. I know I've seen their tracks around here, but
I figured it was a real long shot as to whether or not I could actually catch one. Now that I know that they're here, I'll set out a trap tomorrow. Maybe a quick kill trap. Catching a wild pig is no easy feat. They're strong and aggressive creatures. A light snare's not going to do the job. I need something that's more decisive. A quick kill, fast trigger spear.
Now the tricky part. Setting this thing without stabbing myself. Let me show you how this thing works. This is the path that the pig has been walking along, okay? He's gonna run into that string. When that happens, this releases, and this is the spot here that's holding the spear back. This releases, and then this whole spear will just shoot. And hopefully, if I'm lucky, it'll stab right into the heart of a pig, and I'll be cooking up bacon. Look at this mess. This is what I've got to walk in, which is basically all pig slop.
A bonus would be a nice, big, fat, juicy boa constrictor. It'd be tasty. Easy to catch, not poisonous, full of meat. Not much of a haul for a day's hike, but at least I found these guys. Now, this leaf here, I don't actually have to cook to eat. I can just peel away the leaf part and just eat the stem. Well, it's not much. And it's kind of old and woody, but it's quite literally better than nothing.
I'm not going to stop at just one trap. There are rats in the jungle too, and they can make a good meal.
That's step one. Now, the big question, do I make it rat-sized or pig-sized? Rat comes in here, goes for the bait, takes that snare. With any luck at all, he pulls on the noose, up goes the snare, and he's hanging there waiting for me to come and have breakfast.
In the jungle, there's no warning. The rain is just there. And it locks me into my little green leaf prison.
I've had a lot of rain, but this is the first one with a lot of thunder. So let's hope I don't get too many lightning strikes close by. Pretty big trees in my near. A few, I guess. Well, rain or no rain, maybe I can get some sleep.
Sleep is vital to survival. Without it, you can get very depressed. But there would be no rest for me this night. The pathogens of the jungle have returned to wreak havoc on my system. And as they say in the military, troops march on their stomachs. In fact, constant stomach upset is how prisoners of war were kept from planning escapes. In survival, it's not the big scary creatures that get you. It's the tiny unseen biological world of parasites and disease.
All right, so here's the deal. In the middle of the night, I got hit with pick water, which is the Heiwa language for severe diarrhea. Middle of the night last night, again this morning, and very weak, very shaky. I'm gonna head downstream and get out from under this jungle canopy. Diarrhea in the jungle. That's pretty severe. I thought so. Middle of the night last night, the pig trap went off. And you can see his tracks and everything, but no pig. I'll go up and
check my rat trap. Maybe that will cure my diarrhea, some freshly cooked rat. It's amazing how weak a bout of diarrhea will make you when you don't have much food in your stomach to begin with. And I just keep re-ingesting this jungle water now. The thing is, dehydration would have killed me a long time ago. If I'd gone 3 days without drinking at all, I would have been serious trouble from dehydration because I'm sweating profusely all the time. I would have gotten to that point where I wasn't sweating at all. And that's a very dangerous place to be. So I've been drinking. And now my bowels are paying for it. Just coming up to the rat trap here. We got any action? Nothing. It's just sitting there. Bummer. No action on the rat trap, and pig trap was busted up. To be honest, I'm getting claustrophobic. There's little food here, and I'm constantly in a state of being soaking wet in the mud 24 hours a day. My feet are already developing a fungus that can become quite painful. My mind is aching for some open air and a vista. Along with bouts of diarrhea, I'm vomiting as well. Existence in the jungle is a dark, closed-in experience that can play on the psyche in horrible ways. Nightmares are dogging me constantly in here. Often I dream of being somewhere else, someplace pleasant. But when I wake up, my heart drops. So I realize I'm still in the jungle, sleeping in the mud.
Finally. All right. A big river and an opening. Oh yeah. Now that is nice. Look at that opening. This looks like home to me. Boy, as soon as I hit that sunshine though, the sweat just starts pouring.
There's a good fresh stream coming out just up there. I can avoid drinking the water from this river. Everything that's bad flows into this river, so the cleaner water is the smaller streams, actually. I gotta cool down.
Now maybe tomorrow I can make my way across this river if there's a shallow spot somewhere. Wouldn't trust going across here right now. Now you can see over here, there's a farm over there. It's an active farm too, so there might be vegetables there that I can, well, steal. The only problem with taking vegetables here, if you have permission, well, that's one thing. If you don't have permission, you can find yourself decapitated. That's not a good thing.
It's not that the Heiwa will just attack you outright, but if you steal, you're taking away their very survival.
No doubt the river will flood from time to time, so I can see it by all the washout where I am right now. I'm gonna go up in here. There's a flat space, and tuck in here and just make myself a little quickie shelter. Help me get through the night. This is not gonna be anything fancy, just something quick to keep me out of the rain. Now the beauty of what I'm doing here is this greenery that I'm working with is really easy to work with. And I've got probably a rain-tight shelter here. It's amazing what you can do with a bit of nylon rope and a machete. Well, it's time finally to put that little survival stove to the test. The first thing I'll try is they've got this little package of survival beef bouillon.
This little survival stove is great in a pinch. The small white chemical tablets are fuel, just enough to boil water and get me something hot to drink. Two things sorely missed in a survival situation: something nice and cold, and something nice and hot. And when you're forced to live in a state that seems less than human, anything that makes you feel more human is a bonus and can lift your spirits high.
There we go. Definitely enough to probably kill most, if not all, parasites that are in it. Let's see what some of this survival beef bouillon is like.
Though it's best to boil water for 10 minutes, a lot of experts agree that even just bringing it to the point of boiling can be enough to kill any pathogens.
Oh, wow. That's a lot of flavor. Oh, man, that's good. Still got another treat left to enjoy today that the Hewa sent me in with, called betel nut. It's a bit of a process. Let me show you how it works. There's the betel nut. Now, I'm not sure how to describe what it does. It takes away your appetite, so it suppresses your appetite. All of the Heiwa chew it incessantly. It's kind of like chewing tobacco for them, I think. Makes your face go numb. There's one. Oh. Oh, how do they do that? That's bitter. Oh. Two. And they take this baggie of lye. Then you take a leaf. Oh my God. Oh. And you're chewing all of this. You can not throw up in the process. Hang on. Oh. That's gross. Like ammonia feeling. Sort of. Oh. It's not as powerful as a cocaine or an opium, but I'll tell you how I feel in an hour. How about help me get through the night? Oh, it's brutal. This is why. This is why I don't do tobacco either. Woo. Yep. My face feels numb. Okay then.
The effects of the betel nut are more than I'm expecting, and they go a little beyond just a numb face.
Oh boy.
For the Heiwa, chewing on betel nut all day long is an addiction. It numbs their faces, ruins their teeth, suppresses their appetite, but as well, it gets them high. The high the Heiwa people get from chewing betel nut lasts for them up to an hour and a half.
closed in than I would like it to be, but if it does rain, I'll be fine. Okay.
Well, it's not raining yet. With any luck at all, it won't rain through the whole night. At all. The only problem I have with this shelter now is that it's calling with ants. And they may be small, but they do bite. Sometimes ants are nocturnal, sometimes they're during the day. Hopefully these ones will mellow out now that it's getting good and dark.
Tonight, it's not the ants that I have to worry about.
The river's just raging right now. It's up about 2-3 feet, and I'm only another 2-3 feet higher. In fact, I was gonna make a camp right down here. Hopefully it won't come up anymore. Man, it's moving.
Only once before, in the rivers of the Amazon, did I underestimate how fast a river can rise. This time, the river may be wide, but the amount of water pushing through the valley is unbelievable, and actually predictable on a nightly basis. I'm just not familiar enough with this area.
Water rose up to here last night. Another 2 or 3 feet, and it would have been right up at my shelter. It's still pretty high this morning, so there's not much point in me trying to attempt to cross now. I'll have to wait till it recedes a bit more.
The Heiwa can cross this river in bare feet with babies on their backs. Quite a big difference between a life lived in the jungle and being a visitor like myself.
Just what I was afraid of. His feet have been locked up inside of wet, muddy boots all week, and I've developed a rash and fungus on both of them. That's not good news. And on top of that, the diarrhea returned last night. So it's really beating me up out here. But now that I'm not using the orange tarp for my shelter, I can continue to catch rain, start to flush through some fresh rainwater, and hopefully that will clean me up. Although that won't kill any parasites that might be in my stomach already.
Just as I was considering how I would cross the river to steal some food from the jungle garden, 2 Heiwa men approached from the distance. They had machetes in their hands, and they seemed to have an agenda.
Hello! Okay. How are you?
How are you?
Good, good.
So, Mr. Bilson,
Yeah?
do you want to stay here or come to the station? Something here there?
Big Sing Sing tonight.
Sing. So,
Okay.
he go and tell us to go and ask you.
Yep. Yeah.
He go and
Thank you.
ask you. Do you want to stay or do you want to come to the station? He told us to go
Yeah.
and stay.
Well, there you have it. I'm talking to camera. My choice was to stay, keep suffering from diarrhea in the middle of the jungle with hardly any food to speak of. But what's happened here is the villagers have come back and they've come out here to see me to tell me that there's a Sing Sing tonight in my honor. Celebration of me being here. So my choice was to stay in the jungle and suffer, or come out to the Sing Sing. Very difficult decision to make. Very difficult. 23 times I've gone out into jungles and deserts, on the ocean, in the forests, in the cold and the heat, and survived alone, without food, water, gear, camera crew, often with no backup support. And now I go on to a village in the remote jungles of Papua New Guinea, where they will celebrate my final ever Survivorman.
fitting that it's here in Papua New Guinea, a very primeval forest, where survival is extremely difficult. But survival, that's just the beginning. What comes next is a step beyond. This Sing Sing, as they call it, is a celebration for returning from a kill, a human kill. The killing of either someone they suspected of being a witch, a lone thief, or maybe even an entire village. It was done in my honor for surviving in the jungle, but they take it seriously. Today marks the first time in history that this village has ever been filmed, that these Heiwa have ever been filmed performing a Sing Sing. And it's definitely the first time in history that a white man will be welcomed to join in. In the adventure known as life, there are those who live it vicariously and enjoy the ride from the safety of an armchair. And that's good. There are those who have a few chances to realize incredible and life-changing experiences, and though they don't repeat them, they carry with them a growth in personal philosophy for the rest of their lives. And there are those for whom a taste is never enough, for whom the lust of adventure is nearly insatiable. And if you add to that the overwhelming desire to create and to share, then you get where I reside. For the end of one adventure only signifies the beginning of another.